This man was originally an unemployed drifter who just lazed around all day. But who would have thought that a near-death experience would awaken his ability to control sand? Even though it was classified as a useless F-rank ability, the power of sand was severely underestimated. It is, without a doubt, the strongest ability in the world. Bar none. When faced with an ambush from all sides, his large-scale sand attacks could kill everyone in an instant. In just 10 short years, he went from being an F-rank awakened to becoming the king of this world. And the reason he's so powerful is directly tied to this world, which is nothing but sand. You see, over 100 years ago, a beam of light struck the Earth. The blue planet, once a home for all living things, was transformed into a massive desert graveyard. All the few surviving humans could do was build their own fortresses. I sighed to myself. If they were going to choose destruction, they should have seen it through to the end. Why leave behind creatures that are no better than insects? The moment I thought that, I was slammed against the bus door by a punch. The man just laughed and said his hand slipped. But before apologizing, he told me to give him my name. I told him, I'm Xian. What do you want? The man burst out laughing. Why just one name? You've got a few daddies right here in front of you, don't you? That really pissed me off. He walked right over and sat down beside me. Since we're both down on our luck, we should try to get along. He started guessing I was a criminal, or maybe a fugitive. The crime? Probably assault, fraud, or theft. The next moment, I punched him right in the face. His body went flying. Since you're so curious about what crime I committed, let me tell you, it was murder. Strictly speaking, it wasn't really murder. Cause around here, only the strong are considered human. I thought I'd killed some nobody, but I never expected him to have powerful connections. His brother is Li Jilin. That gave me a huge scare. His brother is actually one of the strong, the kind of being this world considers to be truly human. And the awakened are like gods above them. Rumor had it Li Jilin was looking for me. I didn't think he'd actually show up. Just then, blood splattered in front of me. I couldn't understand why my own fist was bleeding. I'm sure I hit him. But before I could even react, his hand had already grabbed my face. With a slight squeeze, he flipped my entire body over. The force of the blow made me want to throw up. It was clear this guy wasn't just some ordinary person. I went through so much trouble to avoid the awakened, and I still couldn't escape them. One finally caught up to me. Suddenly, the bus started to shake violently, then it began to roll out of control. The bald guy had no idea what was going on and started yelling at the driver, cursing him out for not driving properly. But the driver was in a total panic too. The bus was shaking, because it had just been swallowed by a giant monster. Everyone was terrified. They were all scrambling to get out, but it was too late. Countless grains of sand enveloped them completely. Back in the Seoul New District, getting devoured by a sandworm when you ran into an awakened wasn't anything special. Because that's just how this world works. The strong take everything from the weak. So even if I die, I'll just be another weakling. Nobody would even care that we're dead. If only I could have been just a little bit stronger. I wouldn't have died like this, but there's no point in saying that now. Because I'm already on my last breath. Suddenly, my eyes flew wide open. I hadn't been buried by the desert. Instead, the sand had pulled me out. And not only that, I could feel my body had gone through some kind of massive change. Just a moment ago, I couldn't breathe, and I had no idea what was going on. But now I could sense everything outside. At first, I thought it was just an illusion. But as I focused, I discovered the iron tower outside. And the other buildings. My heart suddenly started pounding. My vision grew sharper, in rhythm with my breathing. Every scene from the outside world flooded into my mind. I had absolutely no idea what had happened. I could even sense planets far out in the cosmos. It was as if I was the entire Earth itself. Or perhaps the embodiment of the entire planet. Realizing this, I figured I must have awakened. So, I raised my hands and started to gather my power. Countless grains of sand converged at my fingertips. The next moment, I unleashed a shockwave. It blasted right through the monster's body. I only had one thought in my mind. And that was to survive. In this world where everything had turned to sand, I had to live, even if a terrifying monster stood in my way. I absolutely would not back down here. I focused inward, sensing my entire body. My heartbeat was strong and clear. Every cell in my body was humming with energy. There was no doubt about it. I was an awakened now. The monster before me thrashed wildly in the desert, rolling over and over. In front of it, I was like an ant. Its massive jaws snapped open, coming right for me. I immediately slammed my hand down on the ground. But the strange thing was, just as I was about to counterattack, a man pushed my head down and told me not to get in the way. Get out of here, now. And then, I felt a sudden, immense force send my body flying. I crashed heavily into the sand. That crazy human, he actually just swatted me away. And I never even saw him get close. Then, my eyes widened in sheer shock as I looked up. I couldn't believe it, that monster was actually gushing thick, black blood. And that man from before, all by himself, had defeated such a powerful monster. He lashed out with a kick, and the monster was slammed into the ground by the impact. I didn't know if the world had gone crazy, Or if I had, that man just defeated the sandworm so easily. I'd never seen an awakened that powerful before. Before I knew it, a blue-haired woman appeared beside me. She said the man's name was Zhang Longfan. He was her captain. I instinctively turned my head to look at her. I wondered who this woman was. And why could these people always sneak up on me without me noticing? The moment this woman grabbed my arm, I felt her astonishing strength. Not only that, I could feel my arm growing cold. I told her to let go immediately, but she refused, no matter what. Zhang Longfan shot a sharp glance in our direction. What a troublesome woman. I told you to just attack it directly. The brain is near the oral cavity. This type of monster is an easy kill. The woman said she couldn't do it. Besides, she added, there's only one survivor here. Then, with a single kick, she sent my body flying. Then she used her jujitsu to pin me to the ground. I couldn't move at all. I didn't even understand what they were trying to do. The woman just chuckled. I wonder what this guy's level and ability are. Let's see if I can guess. But she quickly noticed a serious problem. The guy in front of her wasn't an awakened. She saw that there was no class insignia on my arm. I figured she must be blind. How could an awakened not have a class insignia? Just then, a car pulled up. Someone inside shouted, "What are you guys still dawdling for? The sun's about to set." The blue-haired woman asked what to do with me. If we leave him here, he might die. Their captain, Zhang Longfan, glanced at me. At the same time, our eyes met. Zhang Longfan spoke up, "Just let him come with us. He's heading to the mines anyway." And so, as the sun began to set, a car drove through the desert. The young man with the glasses, who had spoken earlier, was shouting angrily. "Why do you guys always act on your own? Didn't I tell you? The sun is almost down." Listening to them argue, I sat in the back, tied up tight. With a single thought, I controlled the sand in front of my eyes, making it form a small vortex. Then, I released my concentration. The sand fell. It seems I can move the sand with my mind. I must have awakened an ability. But I don't get it. Why did that blue-haired woman say she couldn't see my class insignia? I took a closer look. It really does seem a little different, especially the color. It doesn't look like the usual orange, it's the color of sand. Exactly. The glow of the insignia changes depending on the Awakened series. Magic series is blue, and Martial Combat series is red. But occasionally, there are other series of Awakened I never would have thought. That I'd have the ability to control sand. I've never even heard of a power like this. Even though the insignia shows I'm the lowest F rank, I can feel it. This power has limitless potential, just like the desert itself. Thinking about this, I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. I'll make this world wait. Until this power is completely mine. Until that time comes, I'll lay low and survive. This world will become my stage, and mine alone. In a world of nothing but sand, I awakened the power of sand. I'm practically the chosen one. Soon, I arrived at the magic crystal mine. Everything here looked pretty normal. As soon as I got there, I was told to fall in with the others. Those two from before were staring at me. They thought I was strange. So many people were devoured, yet only one person made it out alive. The captain, Zhang Longfan, was sure it wasn't a coincidence. Because when he killed the monster, he noticed something suspicious. There was a hole in the monster's body. Zhang Longfan regretted not asking for my name. He had a feeling he'd see that guy again. Night fell quickly. I thought this place was just a network of tunnels. But I was surprised to see there were living quarters too. It was only then that the ropes on my hands were finally undone. After he untied them, he just walked away. "Aren't you worried I'll just leave?" I asked. He said it wasn't his problem. "I don't care what you do. Even if you tear this whole place apart, it's none of my business." Whatever. I wasn't going to waste my time arguing with an idiot like that. I figured I'd wander around a bit and find something to eat. It didn't take long to find a stall. I was just about to look up and ask the owner how much things were, when I noticed a poster on the wall. It read, "Let our labor bring a shining light to New Seoul." The owner let out a loud laugh. "So, what do you think? That line caught your eye, didn't it?" He said anyone who actually believes that is a fool. New Seoul's energy source isn't magic crystals. I asked him what he meant by that. If it's not magic crystals, then what is the energy source? He just pointed at me. "It's little rats like you. You just do as you're told. And if that's not enough, your minds will automatically replenish themselves." "What a wonderful source of energy," I said sarcastically. "You really know a lot, don't you? I bet your friends are already swimming in the underworld, aren't they?" he asked, looking quite amused. "How did it feel inside the sandworm's guts? Must have been just like being back in your mother's womb, huh?" I couldn't believe it. News that I'd been swallowed had already spread all the way here. The old man sneered that I was about to become worm dung, yet I somehow managed to run here for safety. Treating this place like some kind of safe harbor. The old man told me to look behind him. You'll find it's not so easy to make money here. But behind the old man, there was nothing but a pile of junk. "What? Are you senile? Why are you making me look at a pile of garbage?" He said he'd collected all of it, piece by piece. "It's what happens to everyone who comes here. And it's your future, kid. Everyone who comes here tries to hold out at first, refusing to go down into the mines. You know how it is, right? The magic crystal mines are that kind of place. They think going down there is a death sentence. So they sell off everything they own, just to hold out a little longer, and then a little longer. Until finally, they sell themselves. In the end, all that struggling was for nothing. It doesn't solve a single thing. Whatever little they have just gets slowly used up. In the end, they all meet the same fate. They even start muttering that if the mines had just swallowed them up, it would have been a relief. As the saying goes, a man leaves behind his name when he dies. But when garbage dies, it leaves behind nothing but more garbage. The old man added that he was looking forward to seeing what I'd leave behind. I was done with his rambling and asked him how much the food was. He said it was 10 sol. I seriously thought the old man was insane. What, is this meat sprinkled with gold dust or something? He said things here are worth much more than gold. But there was no way I was going to let him rip me off. You dare try and extort me with this rotten, cheap meat? You think you can pull one over on me just because I'm new here? Trying to scam me, you're really losing it, old man. Do I look like I have any money on me? As I was saying this, countless people started waving knives around. They were all vendors and workers from the area. At that point, I still hadn't noticed the commotion behind me. I was still going on, saying, I'm not giving you the money. So you can figure out what to do about it. The next second, figures behind me were closing in fast. That's when it hit me. Something was wrong with these guys. The old man in front of me just chuckled. Didn't you find it a little strange? How an old bag of bones like me could be running a business so openly right by the mines? When I turned my head again, I saw that everyone behind me was holding a knife, their sharp eyes fixed right on me. The old man gave a sinister smile. Come on, then, young man, let me see what you're going to do now. I slammed my fist on the table, and my address changed from old man to sir. Please, calm down. How could I possibly have that much money? Let's talk this out calmly. Of course, the old man knew I didn't have enough money. But he wasn't a bad person at heart. Other things could be used for trade. For instance, that mana crystal in your pocket looks pretty good. I couldn't help but think, you've got to be kidding me. So he was setting a trap for me here. The old man beckoned with his finger, telling me to hand it over. In return, he'd make an exception and give me a fair price. I told him to cut the crap. Do you have any idea what I went through to protect this thing? I put a lot of blood and sweat into this. I hope you can make an exception this one time, sir. Isn't there such a thing as buying on credit? Just as I was speaking, a hand grabbed my head. With a loud thud, he slammed my head down hard on the table. You could say he had a violent temper. Boss, you don't need to listen to this kid's nonsense. Just bury him. But in the next moment, his hand was severed. I had used my sandstorm blast ability. Everyone looked horrified as they caught the dismembered hand. And the old man before me was cut in half at the waist. Not only that, my ability killed everyone here. You guys started it. This isn't my fault, but that was all just in my imagination. The big guy was speechless. What's wrong with you? You've been spacing out from the very beginning. Were you daydreaming? Defeated, I had no choice but to toss the mana crystal to him. Here's the mana crystal you wanted so badly. Now it's yours. The old man examined the quality of the mana crystal and finally offered a price of 100 sol. But this mana crystal could sell for at least 300 sol. Still, there was nothing I could do. This was his turf. Whatever he said, went. I banged my head on the table. If I were ruthless, killing this old man would be quite simple. But I absolutely couldn't make a move right now. I began to negotiate with him. How about giving me a little more for change? At this, the old man became more agreeable. He told me to go to the back and pick one item, and that would be considered my change. I could only pick one thing, but I could take absolutely anything. I rummaged around for a long time, only to find the place was basically a junkyard. There was nothing good. The old man seemed to find me interesting. This paranoid insistence on not getting ripped off and this shameless will to survive. He hadn't seen anything like it in who knows how long. Just then, I found something. The old man spoke from behind me. That's just some junk a merchant caravan left behind. I had been searching for a while. And I realized this item seemed to be the most valuable. There was nothing better than this. Even though it was also junk. The old man chuckled. You seem quite taken with that useless thing. It was only then that I asked for his name. He said his name was Klexi. Klexi, you old coot. Let's make sure we never meet again. The old man seemed to be in a good mood and even teased me. Perhaps we'll meet again very soon. After leaving that place, I began to examine this hourglass. It probably had about 10 minutes left before it stopped working completely. Right now, I'm in the miner's dormitory. I take a deep breath and slowly begin to channel the power within my body. The next moment, I hold out my hand, trying to make this thing move. But after working at it for a while, I realize the hourglass isn't reacting at all. I have no idea if this thing has anything to do with my awakening. This is clearly the first time I've ever seen this hourglass. But I have this strange sense of deja vu, as if it were custom made just for me. That feeling of familiarity is like it's calling out to me, yet it also feels completely new. I don't know what to make of this feeling. Suddenly, my door is kicked wide open. You the new kid? He asks, telling me not to dawdle. Get to work, I muttered under my breath. If you'd told me where the dorm was in the first place, I wouldn't have been wasting time until now. The next second, he sent me flying with a single punch. He told me to shut my mouth. Because right now, I have absolutely no right to talk back to anyone. Around here, if you dare to talk back, you'd better be ready for a beating. I held it all in. If I didn't want to expose my abilities, I would have finished him off long ago. The man told me to shut up and behave. He told me to hurry up and go to work with him. Right now, it seems like anyone can bully me, but I don't think it'll be long before I can stand up for myself. When that time comes, I'll make damn sure this scumbag remembers that I'm not someone to be trifled with. After that, I followed him to the entrance of the 3rd District mine. Park Won-ho told his men to hand me some equipment and start mining. And in the next breath, he said the cost of the equipment and food would all be deducted from my wages. Any magic crystals I dig up go to him. I asked him what the daily wage was. I had to get that clear with him first. The next moment, my safety helmet was pierced straight through by a hammer. Park Won-ho started cursing me out. Do I have to beat some sense into you with this hammer myself? The cost of the helmet will also be deducted from your wages. You'd better get a clue. Then, he sent me to mine shaft number 972. Another man was just about to say that mine shaft 972 doesn't exist yet, but before he could finish, Park Won-ho cut him off. If you say another word, you can go in his place. He gave me a direct order, until I dig up a magic crystal. Don't even think about crawling out of there. Otherwise, he'd kill me. On his first time mining underground, the man actually encountered a hidden dungeon concealed within the mine shaft. And below was a mountain range of magma, hundreds of meters high. He originally thought he could easily escape using his sand ability, but unexpectedly, within this dungeon, there lived a mysterious old man. Just after I was sent to the dungeon by Park Won-ho, I arrived deep inside the mine shaft. The foreman said my luck was pretty bad to have shown up just when Park Won-ho gambled away everything he had. I was a little worried that a guy as delicate as me might get hurt in a place like this. Hearing that, the foreman's hand trembled slightly. You don't need to worry about getting injured here, because no one has ever been injured here. After that, we arrived at mine shaft 972. Just as I was about to start working, the foreman actually went back to the elevator and shut the iron gate. He said that over 10 people have gone missing here, 4 of whom he knew personally. No one even knows if they're dead or alive, or why. No wonder the foreman told me not to worry about getting injured. Turns out he wanted me to die here. I can't believe he actually left me here all alone. This makes me furious. Is it all just because I pissed off Park Won-ho, leaving me all alone in a place like this? And just as I was cursing out Park Man-ho, too, the sledgehammer in my hand suddenly slipped. Just my luck. My only weapon was gone. After that, I started to observe the mine shaft. I was too angry to notice before, but the concentration of mana in this underground tunnel is shockingly high. Could it be that the others didn't notice because they're just ordinary people? The deeper you go, the denser the mana becomes. A normal person would have collapsed from mana overload by now. I have no idea where all this mana is coming from. A moment later, I found the sledgehammer. But unfortunately, the sledgehammer was broken. And my luck is really the worst. Just then, I stepped on something soft and mushy. A huge, dark pit appeared beneath my feet. I don't even know how it formed. But that's not the problem. The problem is what's down there. Will I die if I fall down there? The next moment, my body started plunging downwards uncontrollably. Except for me, the hammer and my helmet the instant I fell. They were left behind on the ground. I finally understood what the foreman said before. This is how more than 10 people just vanished. After I fell, I passed out. While I was unconscious, I had a dream. It was a scene from my childhood. I was abandoned by my parents. In the end, I was so hungry that I stole someone's meat. For that, I was chased and beaten by more than 10 people. It wasn't until after I killed that person that I found out his older brother was an awakened. I started hiding desperately, running for my life. I've had enough of this kind of ordinary life for a long time. After a while, I came to. My head was killing me. And this place is so hot. I checked the ground and realized something wasn't right. Don't tell me it's really what I think it is. I've fallen into a portal, haven't I? If this really is a portal, that means I'm in a giant dungeon. It's almost impossible to escape. Suddenly, a small stone fell from above. I picked it up and felt a searing heat in my hand. The burning sensation made me instantly throw the stone away. So this isn't a dream after all. Even back in the Seoul New District, people prepared everything they possibly could for dungeons. This has to be volcanic ash. It's like burnt sand. If I don't get out of here quickly, my lungs are done for. With that thought, I tore off my pant leg without a second thought. I need to make a simple mask first. If this dungeon has an entrance, then it must have an exit. The most likely place is that mountain peak, the highest point in the dungeon. If I just stand still, the intense heat and the ash will kill me sooner or later. There are no monsters in sight. This is my chance. I took off at a full sprint. A little predicament like this I'm not going to give up that easily. An easy leap brought me to the platform on the other side. But it was still a bit dangerous. Suddenly, the platform under my feet crumbled away, just as I was about to fall into the lava. Luckily, my arms were long enough to grab hold of the edge of the ground. A little bit of lava like this won't scare me. I pushed myself up with both hands and climbed out. But inside, I was even more furious. That damn parkman ho. When I get out of here, he's a dead man. Then, I immediately shut off my rage mode. If I get more emotional, my situation will only get worse. No matter what, I have to survive. I will struggle and fight with everything I've got. I will find a way out. I looked at the highest peak ahead of me. I still need to make 4 more long-distance jumps to get there, but I absolutely cannot stop. I have to keep moving. I don't need to think. This is a job for my arms and legs. I then got into position, ready to sprint. My life absolutely cannot end here. But what I never, ever expected was that, beneath this lava, a monster had already targeted me, preparing to swallow me in one bite. And just like that, the giant monster swallowed me whole. Its body quickly sank back into the lava. Suddenly, the spot where it had submerged began to bubble. Then, its body started to tremble violently. A huge hole appeared on its body. It was me. I had just used my ability to smash a hole from inside its body. I really didn't expect that I could control volcanic ash, too. The range of this sand ability is surprisingly wide. I quickly escaped the danger. I felt like I was about to collapse. The environment in this dungeon is even crueler than the monsters. The heat waves and ash-filled smoke feel like my nose is burning from the inside. I can't breathe. I feel like I'm about to die. I subconsciously clenched my fists. Just a minute ago, I was saying I would survive. I haven't even been in a relationship yet. If I die like this, it's just too unfair. So even if the Grim Reaper himself comes for my life, I will absolutely not let him take it. The next moment, I began to use my ability. I had already thought of a brilliant idea. That is, to fish a crocodile out of the lava, kill it, and then wrap its hide around my body. I was able to pierce the crocodile's hide just now, so killing one this time shouldn't be too difficult. But just as I was about to make my move, a voice reached my ears. What an interesting ability controlling sand. It's truly fascinating. I looked up. Couldn't believe it. Why would a human be here? And an old man, at that. I saw him looking at me with an excited smile. I have no idea what he wants. The man had awakened the world's strongest sand ability. He thought this would be a power that could overturn the world, but he never expected that he was about to perish in the lava of a dungeon. And all of this was caused by the aftershocks of a great battle between 2 powerful beings above. At this moment, a white-haired old man suddenly appeared above me. I saw a sword in his hand. Then, his body flipped once in mid-air. To my utter shock, he struck the crocodile's back with a single blow. At that moment, the ground trembled, and the lava erupted. The old man's attack was just too fierce. I even thought my eardrums were going to burst. I couldn't hear anything. I looked up at the monster and saw that it had actually been sliced in half. And yet, the old man was completely unharmed. This was definitely no ordinary, powerful awakened being. He was a truly powerful person on a completely different level. Just then, he slowly lifted his foot. With one step, he stomped a huge crater into the ground. We're talking about your name now. I'll only give you 3 seconds. You'd better answer me quickly. As he spoke, he began the countdown. The time quickly reached the second. At that moment, I was still in a state of shock, marveling at his incredible power. After 3 seconds, the old man realized I still hadn't told him my name. So he decided to kill me right then and there. What he didn't know was that the ringing in my ears had just stopped. I could finally hear him speak, so I quickly shouted for him to wait. I don't know what's going on, but please, spare my life. My name is Xian. Whatever this is, we can talk it out. The old man found my name pathetic. Then, he swung his sword, cleaving the lava mountain behind me in 2. Then, he told me his name. He was Daiden. I had no idea what he was trying to pull. I'm grateful that you saved me. But don't you think this is a bit much? The old man called me an idiot, saying I didn't even realize I'd fallen into a trap. To protect itself, the dungeon creates another entrance, releasing magic through that opening and dragging any nearby creatures into it. That's the trap. Most people go their entire lives without ever seeing one. You've got some rotten luck, kid. But this is all that damn parkman ho's fault. I asked him how to get out. We can't just die in here, can we? He told me to focus my magic into my eyes. In a moment, I'll show you why I called you a fool. So I did as he said. I infused my eyes with my own magic, carefully sensing my surroundings. Suddenly, a monster appeared before my eyes. It turns out the old man had been fighting it this whole time. He wasn't threatening me at all. He said it was a magical beast with the ability to turn invisible. Unsuspecting prey is already dead before they even realize they're being devoured. I couldn't believe such a massive creature was right in front of me. And I didn't sense even a hint of danger. If it weren't for the old man's sword strike just now, I probably would have died without ever knowing what happened. Now that I think about it, he's already saved me twice. Just how strong is this person? His power might be far beyond anything I could imagine. I asked him who he was. But who he is wasn't the point. I wanted to know where we were. The old man called this place a dungeon. It was also his hunting ground. As for who I am, you'll just have to witness it for yourself. As he spoke, the old man slowly drew the blade from his back. With a single swing toward the mountains ahead, the ear-splitting sound of the air being torn apart nearly shattered my eardrums. I was in shock, wondering what on earth the old man had just done that caused so many flying monsters to appear in the sky. Just then, the old man said to me, "If you want to live, if you want to prove you have any worth, then fight." As soon as the words left his mouth, flying monsters shot past me. I couldn't believe how fast these things were. If I didn't act now, I was going to get seriously hurt. But they were flying all over the place, and they were so fast that I couldn't even run away. And why were they only attacking my left side? I concentrated sand at my fingertips, compressing it to create sand bullets. But my attacks couldn't hit any of these birds. Instead, I was the one getting beaten and bruised by them. Right now, neither my sand nor my eyes could keep up with the monster's speed. If this keeps up, I'm definitely dead. That old man already saved my life twice. If I die just like this, then I'd really become the fool he called me. Suddenly, I realized something. My ears were injured again because of this old man in front of me. I could only see his mouth moving, but I couldn't hear any sound at all. I need a way to track the enemy's movements. My eyes just can't keep up. If that's the case, then there's only one way. I have to channel my mana into my eyes. Then, I can stare at the monsters and predict their trajectories. And all of this was what the old man just taught me. Don't always try to see with your eyes. Most of the time, you have to see with your mana. Just then, a crow monster came flying right at me. But this time, I could clearly see its movement path. With a single-handed gesture, I created a Shalazy shield and blocked the attack. I finally understood something. I needed to sense the beast's mana. And it's not about what your eyes see, but how you use them. When the beast's mana gets close, counterattack from the shortest distance. So, that old man must have understood this principle from the very beginning. It was as if he could already foresee what was going to happen in the future. This old man is just too powerful. Who in the world is he? Next moment, the old man unleashed a slash from his sword. How interesting. It's been a long time since I felt this fired up. With a single slash, the crocodile's body tumbled into the lava. But the old man didn't seem satisfied. He wanted to kill more crocodiles. He swung his sword again. My god, this old man is just too powerful. The monsters here are no match for him at all. In his eyes, these monsters are like carrots in a garden, easily chopped down. He even said his warm-up was over before it even started. Why are there so few monsters in the dungeon lately? From what he was saying, it seemed like he's been in this dungeon for many years. I looked up, and all the monsters were already dead by his sword. I was so shocked I was speechless. But this was good in a way. Since he'd eliminated all the monsters, I could finally leave. But just then, I felt the ground all around me start to tremble. Damn it, I cursed under my breath. Of course, it wasn't going to be as simple as I thought. The sound the monster made, it almost made my ears explode. It was an incredibly painful feeling. I dropped to the ground and started to dry heave. I asked the old man, "What the hell was that just now? What's going on this time?" He said it was the roar of the boss. The so-called boss is something every dungeon has. It's the final boss, the source of this entire area. And that's the reason the old man came here. After that enormous thing appeared, my eyes widened in shock. The old man, however, was extremely excited. "You finally appeared." The next moment, the monster let out a ferocious roar. This thing was the so-called Crimson Dragon. Although it's called a dragon, it isn't actually a dragon. It's merely a B-rank existence. Still, being a B-rank monster, it's incredibly powerful. Especially a Lord type, which is on a completely different level, like an awakened being. The red aura signifies a combat type trait. At that moment, the monster unleashed its ice ability. An ice spike suddenly shot out from its mouth, heading straight for us. I jumped in fright. An attack like that is basically cheating. However, the old man split the attack with just a single swing of his sword. I stood below, completely unharmed. My entire worldview is shattering. Everything I've ever learned is meaningless now. In front of that old man, it's all meaningless. His power is beyond anything I can comprehend. Just then, the black dragon clenched its claws tightly, but its attack was useless against the old man. It couldn't even land a hit. And just then, the black dragon's wrist twisted back at an unnatural angle, managing to grab hold of the old man's body. Immediately, it opened its massive jaws, preparing to blast the old man with magic. In response, the old man just chuckled and pressed down with one hand. He forced the dragon's giant mouth shut, and the attack it had just gathered detonated inside its own mouth. The old man smiled and said, "Hurts, doesn't it, Drake? Don't you worry, pain like that will be over in an instant. I will be the one to end everything. Because today is the funeral of Drake, the black dragon." With that, he swung his sword down, striking the black dragon's body. Hearing the old man say today was the dragon's funeral, I felt like it was my funeral, too. These lunatics, can't they just talk things out like normal people? Do they really have to fight? I immediately used my sand ability, trying to block the incoming shockwave. The next moment, I actually managed to block it. The force of the blast pushed my body forward relentlessly. Just the aftershock alone was this powerful. I can't even imagine the kind of power that old man is facing head on. The old man was laughing maniacally. This is fantastic. Black Dragon, I'm starting to really love you. To think you could unleash this much power. In the old man's eyes, he felt like he was playing at an amusement park. With a single swing of his sword, he smashed the black dragon's body right into the lava. The pathetic thing is, the aftershock of the battle reached me again. Watching the shockwave get closer and closer, I cursed under my breath. Damn it, that old man doesn't give a damn whether I live or die. I quickly threw up a sand shield to protect my face, but I was sent flying anyway. And the force of the shockwave didn't lessen, sending my body tumbling across the ground for several rotations. As I was tumbling, I realized I was about to fall into the lava. My expression froze. I'm not going to die here like this, am I? I just awakened my powers. And it's the strongest killing ability, at that. This would be way too anticlimactic. I haven't even done anything yet. I looked up at the two powerhouses above. Damn them both. New update. New update. The latest episode of King of Sand. Just as I was about to fall into the lava, I slapped my own cheeks hard with both hands to stay conscious. Then, I summoned sand to cushion my fall. At the same time, the old man's fight was reaching its climax. He was smashing the black dragon's head so hard it was almost plastered to the ground. Just then, the black dragon opened its massive jaws. As the old man watched with excitement, it fired a huge shockwave directly at him. The force of the blast turned the entire ground to ash. The black dragon thought to itself, an attack like this should be enough to kill you, right? However, what it didn't expect was for a giant sword to descend from above, striking it directly in the chest. The black dragon let out a blood-curdling scream. The old man had spent a whole year crossing this desert, just to track down the black dragon, because only its heart could be used to strengthen his sword. And now, it was time for the black dragon to die. That giant sword was continuously draining the dragon's energy. All the blood in the black dragon's body was being absorbed by the sword. Gradually, the sword turned red, as if some kind of seal had been broken. The energy bursting from the great sword grew stronger and stronger, and the broken part began to reform. In just a moment, the sword was whole again. The old man gripped the sword tightly in his hand. My dear companion, you finally returned, and you're countless times stronger than before. Just then, I shouted, hey, you crazy old geezer. Are you insane, talking to that sword all the time? But you actually managed to defeat that black dragon. You really are a crazy old man, through and through. You're absurdly powerful. The old man seemed surprised that I was still alive, too. But I was still shaken. If I hadn't thought on my feet a moment ago, I really would have died. Looks like I'm pretty hard to kill. It's all thanks to that old man constantly blasting me with shockwaves. It really sharpened my reflexes. The old man laughed. For a moron, that was pretty good. I looked up, and the sky above began to crack apart. It was because the black dragon was dead, and now the dungeon was about to collapse. So we had to get out of there, fast. I didn't get why he was grabbing onto me. The old man let out a laugh and then, with a mighty heave, he threw me toward the exit. I screamed, you damn old geezer. You just wait. The next thing I knew, I was back in the familiar desert world. I couldn't believe I had actually made it out of the dungeon. The old man's figure emerged right after. When a dungeon starts to crumble, a portal to the exit appears. The old man told me to listen closely. He said he needs my ability to control sand. But right now, I'm too weak. I'm completely useless. So, he was going to give me a choice. The first choice was to go right. That path would take me back to New Seoul. I could go back to my old life. The second choice was to go with him, and become an even bigger idiot than you are now. I had no idea why this old man was suddenly saying all this. And how long would I have to travel with him? Even the old man didn't know. Months, years, maybe even decades. You'll never know until that moment arrives. But right now, he needed me to make a choice. Was I going to return to my former, comfortable life, or throw myself into a life or death gamble with only a 1% chance of winning? Now, make your choice. I just scoffed. This old man had to be kidding me. He really wasn't right in the head. You expect me to give up my house, my bed, and the roof over my head? All just to cross this burning desert with you? The old man nodded. That's exactly what I mean. So, hurry up and choose. Since he put it like that, there was nothing left to discuss. I walked right up to him. I'll go with you. That's my choice. I'm the type who always gets revenge, but right now I'm still too weak. Can't get it. By the way, one more thing. Old man, you're on my revenge list, too. Of everyone I've ever met, you're the strongest. And I have a feeling I'll never meet anyone stronger. The old man burst out laughing. Well, it seems you've got a good eye for things after all. And I'm sure that if I follow you, I'll become even stronger than you. Sooner or later, I'll have to kill you. hearing someone say they're going to kill him. And from a little brat, no less, the old man couldn't help but find it amusing. One day, you will come to regret that conviction. After that, he stopped bothering with my nonsense. You idiot, hurry up and follow me. We still have a long way to go. After walking for 10 hours, I realized the old man's pace hadn't slowed a bit. But I was running out of stamina. I was hoping he would stop and let us rest for a while. But the old man completely ignored my request, which was driving me crazy. Just answer my question, will you? I'm burning up. The temperature here feels like it's over 50 degrees. This damn sand makes every step feel like torture. At this rate, I'm definitely going to get heat stroke or dehydrate. Just then, the old man stopped walking. You're pathetic. You haven't even used 1% of your own power. I didn't understand what the old man meant. He said I could control sand. And yet here I was, complaining about how hard it was to walk in it. How pathetic. What the hell does he know? Easy for him to say. I only awakened a few days ago. How am I supposed to know all that? But to the old man, that didn't matter. So what? Even if you'd only awakened a minute ago, it's still your power. The development of your ability starts from the very moment you awaken. But what I said next made the old man absolutely furious. I told him I was just a lowly F rank. Unlike an ancient, high-level awakened like you. He spun around and appeared right beside me. Don't you ever say something that's stupid again. Who gives a damn if you're an F rank or an S rank? Do you think people are just born as S ranks? And even if they are, it just means they were born lucky. So just because you're not lucky, you're going to give up on life and just go with the flow? In other people's eyes, you're already incredibly fortunate, and not just fortunate, you're practically defying the heavens. You idiot, you have no idea what your power truly means. As he spoke, the old man's tone softened considerably. I won't say any more. Just stop complaining. Start thinking about how you can use your power. What good are strong limbs if the brain controlling them is dead weight? He patted my shoulder. This is your own ability. You should be the one to understand it. You're the only one who can figure out how to break its limits and wield it. As he said this, his hand unconsciously clenched. I wondered what this sand ability really meant to him. The next moment, his grip was so tight it hurt. If you dare waste this power, you idiot, I'll kill you. After that, I started trying to develop my sand ability. Clumps of sand floated in midair under my control. Right now, I can probably control sand within a radius of about 50 meters. The range is a little short, but it's enough. If I can solve this problem, I can conserve a lot of stamina. Taking a step forward, I compressed and hardened the sand. This way, I could walk as if I were on solid ground. I was pretty proud of this new skill I developed. I wanted to show the old man what I could do. Look, I'm not sinking into the sand anymore. And walking felt effortless. But soon, I realized something was wrong. Because that would consume a massive amount of magic in the long run. It's just not a worthwhile trade. So, I focused the magic on my legs. This way, I don't waste as much magic, and walking is much easier. The old man listened to my nonsense and slowly closed his eyes. In the end, the method was simple. This little guy just needs to keep trying and never give up. That's the privilege of youth. He's still just an F rank right now. But in terms of strength and magic control, he's already approaching E rank or even D rank. The old man believed my future potential was immense. Meanwhile, I was lost in the joy of developing my abilities. I caught up to that stinky old man in a single step. To show him my new skill, I only control the sand directly under my feet, which makes walking incredibly easy. I even mocked the old man, saying there was no way he could do what I did. You can only trudge through the sand one step at a time, and you're slower than a snail. The next moment, his loving iron fist came down on my head. If you keep spouting nonsense, you little brat, don't even think about following me anymore. If you keep wasting your energy on useless crap like this, you'll work yourself to death. The old man said that time was extremely tight right now. You idiot, you'd be better off talking less and saving some energy. Soon, night fell. The old man finally saw that I was awake. You useless punk, wasting so much of my time taking care of you. But I don't remember the old man taking care of me. The stuff he rubbed on my wounds wasn't medicine. It was just filth. Just then, I saw him toss me a piece of dried meat. The old man told me to eat and listen. This was about a time when he was like me. Back then, even if you were weak, even more pathetic than others, you could still survive. People even respected those who protected the weak. Can you imagine that? But as you know, this world has changed. To you, this might just seem normal. But I've never gotten used to it. If you've already decided to die, then just lie here and rot like a piece of meat. If not, then get up on your own, with your own strength. You fool. He tossed me another piece of jerky. I finally understood his words. I had a guess. He might have really lived for a very, very long time. But I had no idea for how many years. How many memories were stored in there. I even suspected he had lived for over 100 years. From before the blue star turned into the sand star. And he was still chewing on that same piece of jerky from before. In a desert with no water. This was probably the right way to do things. I just wish he'd told me sooner. I feel like this old man isn't just giving me a fish, he's teaching me how to fish. But I've never even seen a fish before. I then asked the old man for another piece. Night fell, and I sneezed. I finally learned just how cold a desert night can be. Also, that crazy old man muttered to himself every day, which meant I barely got any sleep. It seems he's really not well in the head. I was just about to ask him if he had any water. I was so thirsty. Then I saw him wring the dew out of his clothes and drink it. This made me furious. That old man is so damn sneaky, keeping it all for himself. When he sleeps, he lays his clothes out on the sand to catch the morning dew. All I could do was lick the moisture from my own sleeve, but I didn't feel the least bit ashamed. Just you wait, you crazy old man. I swear, one day I'll get my revenge. That's when he called me an idiot again. That really set me off. I'm not an idiot. I'm a moron. My apologies. The old man didn't have time to joke around. Moron, do you feel that? Something's wrong. Hearing him say that, I froze. That vibration, and it's not just coming from one spot. It feels like it's coming from several directions. In just a matter of moments, we were surrounded by beasts. They were great horned hyenas. They usually hunt at night. It looks like we ran into them at dawn. The old man probably thought I was going to ask for his help again, but too bad for him, he guessed wrong. I killed one of the hounds in a single blow. I don't need the old man's help anymore, because I feel like I can handle an attack with this kind of range. The next moment, I formed another sand vortex at my fingertips. With a loud boom, it sent all the charging hyenas flying. However, another pack of hounds appeared behind me. In response, I thrust out my hand. A spike of sand sent several of them flying. I'd already killed so many, but these hyenas just kept coming. If this keeps up, my magic is going to run out soon. I need a plan. Brute force isn't the answer. I need to control my magic more efficiently. I have to master a new skill. How to fight using less magic. Just as I was thinking, one of the dogs suddenly bit my hand. The pain made me curse out loud. How dare you attack and bite me while I'm thinking? You damn hound. A hole. Looks like I've got a new air vent. I carefully focused on the flow of air, and suddenly, I remembered something. The hounds in front of me kept charging. I needed to create a hole. This hole is a strange thing to talk about. It's not a literal hole. I mean a bloody hole in the hounds' bodies. How could I have forgotten that move? I can form the sand into fine, sharp pillars and pierce right through these hyenas' heads. We found it. We found it. We found an oasis in the desert. By this point, I had gone completely wild. Facing the hounds before me, I used my sand ability to impale them all. Compared to my fight, the old man seemed to be handling them with ease. Just then, a hound latched onto the old man's leg. But the hyena's teeth shattered on impact. The old man just laughed. Are you little pups trying to scratch an itch for me? But he couldn't let a dog that bites live. I yelled at the old man to control himself. Don't let your fight drag me into it. But the old man couldn't care less. He immediately unleashed a rain of stones. As he brought his sword down, the hounds on the ground were sent flying. All I could do was use sand to block some of the shockwave. That crazy old man. I was standing right there, and he still used that much power. But when I saw the massive crater in the ground, I was stunned. Is this guy even human? To be able to do something like that without using any skills. I can't believe he took care of all the hyenas with just one move. And now, the old man was standing on top of the pack's alpha. What surprised him was that this one was actually a female, and she seemed particularly ferocious. She actually unleashed a lightning ability. The old man was a bit taken aback. Could this be an aura? It seems your rank is even higher than B class. The next moment, her lightning struck the old man's body directly. I screamed, watch out. Get out of there. But to my surprise, the old man just grabbed the attack, as if in his eyes. It was nothing at all. My brain just short-circuited. It seems that for the old man, there was never any danger to begin with. After being zapped by the lightning, the old man felt like his bones had gotten a nice massage. Well, the electrotherapy session is over. It's time for you to die, you hyena. The old man brought his sword down, ending the hyena's life in an instant. I felt so ashamed. I had actually worried about that old man for a moment. After the battle was over, the old man was pretty surprised to see I was still alive. The old man pulled the spike from the hyena's head. This thing could be made into a pretty decent weapon. Then, he tossed a dagger to me. From now on, he told me to hunt for my own food and not to expect a single drop of water or a piece of meat from him. Although the meat from these hyenas is poisonous. The meat on their hindquarters is clean. It's not poisonous. You can eat that. Now stop dawdling. The sun's about to come up. You need to move faster. 2 hours later, the sun rose as usual. I was eating jerky and humming a little tune. This was the life I wanted. My throat was a bit dry, but having food to fill my stomach was enough. Plus, thanks to my new skill, sand step, walking had become so much easier. I started showing off my ability in front of the old man. Getting a little jealous, huh? Aren't you pushing yourself a bit too hard at your age? Not as easy as it is for me, right? The old man tried to hit me like before, but I dodged it. I was expecting it this time, but I didn't expect his right fist to come down from above. I couldn't dodge this one. I took the full force of that punch. The old man told me not to get cocky. You just learned one decent skill. And you're already getting arrogant. You'll pay for it, especially in front of me. I told him I was just messing around. I'm dying of thirst here, and you're shoving my face into the sand. That's just too cruel. Just then, I noticed the old man was ignoring me. And then I realized something was off. There was moisture in the air. I could feel a damp coolness on my skin. For a second, I thought I was imagining it. But looking at the old man's eyes, I saw he was staring in the same direction as me. I knew my guess was right. This meant there had to be something up ahead. Maybe an oasis. Soon, we crossed over a sand dune. When I got to the top, I was ecstatic. I couldn't believe my guess was right. The oasis was real. I'd only ever heard about these in stories. Right in front of us was a decent-sized lake model. It looks like my throat is saved. An update, an update. The latest chapter of King of the Sands. Right after we discovered the oasis, I couldn't wait and rushed down. The old man looked at me like I was an idiot. But I didn't even notice. I hadn't had a proper drink of water in days. How could I care about anything else? So, I plunged my head right into the water. I kept gulping down that source of life. The feeling was just too wonderful. The cold pierced my skin from all directions. In this hellish, 50-degree desert, I could feel the cool water flowing over me. Just as I was lost in this joy, a shadow appeared before my eyes. An indistinct dark shape up ahead emitted a bright light. It felt so warm. Suddenly, my exhausted mind grew tired. I felt myself getting sleepier and sleepier. From above, the old man shouted, "You idiot, wake up. Do you want to get eaten?" He quickly rushed in my direction. Watching his movements, I could clearly feel his urgency. It turned out that beneath this small oasis, there was a hidden deep water area. And a monster was about to open its mouth and eat me. The old man grabbed my clothes. The very instant that monster fish from below rushed up, the old man managed to yank my body out of the water. Then, he strode forward. The one apprentice I worked so hard to find. How could I let you eat him? You reckless monster fish. The next moment, he tensed his arm slightly. He struck the monster fish with a single sword blow, sending a huge wave across the oasis. By this point, I was scared stiff. I had just barely escaped becoming dinner for that monster fish. And over this lake, I saw a rainbow glow. So what they said was true. There really is a light with 7 colors. It turns out this type of monster fish is called a sandma. They use the light on their foreheads to lure prey and then swallow them whole. Afterward, the old man's expression grew more and more solemn. He was furious. He turned and punched me on the forehead. Do you have any idea you were almost eaten just now? If it had eaten you and retreated into the deep water, not even I could have saved you. The old man kept chewing me out. Where did everything I taught you go? You moron. The second you feel a little comfortable, you think you're invincible. You have absolutely no common sense. I nodded quickly. Actually, he was only saying these things for my own good. I was well aware of that. Then, the old man told me to skin it, to peel the hide off this fish. Because this is a sand throat beast, a C-class monster. Their multicolored hide is soft and elastic, making it an excellent material for robes. After we cut it off, we can make an item of clothing. I asked him if he needed a robe. The old man's anger was reaching its absolute limit. He roared at me, "How are you getting dumber and dumber? It's not for me, it's for you. You are a complete and utter idiot. There has to be a reason you're this stupid. Did someone use petrification magic on you last year, or what?" The old man's shouting was so loud it felt like my ears were bleeding, and all I could do was say I was sorry. The old man said there was something off about this fish. It had changed a lot. This species once resembled the fish of ancient Earth. The old man knew I had never seen a fish before, so he told me to come over and get a good look. And indeed, it was just as he had said. I've never seen anything so bizarre. This thing can actually breathe underwater. It's incredible, and it looks a little scary, too. The next moment, I started skinning the strange fish with a knife. The old man started yelling at me again. What are you doing? Scratching its back? Come on, right? After struggling for what felt like forever, I still couldn't get the skin off this weird fish. Looks like this is tougher than I thought. If that's the case, I'll try using my magic to see if I can pierce its skin. I made the blade sharper and quickly sliced down. I also carved off the strange fish's fin to use as a needle. After I had sharpened the fin, I used its sinew as thread to mend my clothes. But I soon discovered that I had failed completely. The clothes I made were something not even a beggar would wear. They were ragged and tattered, and they had a disgusting, fishy stench. It was a gallbladder bigger than a cannonball, yet the old man told me to eat it in one go. That's because this gallbladder is a top-grade medicinal ingredient that can enhance both magic and physical constitution after being eaten. Gradually, after spending half a month with the old man, I found that I was starting to carry myself like a true warrior. Right after I failed at mending my clothes, the old man told me not to worry, saying he still had plenty of raw materials. In the blink of an eye, night fell again, and I had finally managed to stitch together an article of clothing. After failing a total of 8 times, I finally succeeded. Just then, the old man called out to me, making me jump out of my skin. This is mine. You can't take it away. However, the old man didn't care about the clothes I'd mended. He told me to eat this piece of meat. This is the gallbladder of a sand throat. It's a rare medicinal ingredient. He told me I had to eat every last bite. The old man even threatened me that if I didn't eat it, I would die. Then, before I could even react, he shoved the gallbladder into my hands. Staring at this disgusting thing, I really had no choice. But I didn't care anymore. Since the old man said this was a top-grade medicinal ingredient, I might as well eat it. Better to be disgusted than beaten to death. But as I ate, I realized that this thing actually tasted pretty good. It felt like eating a cloud. No matter how much I ate, I never felt full. Just then, the old man called out with an amused look, "Eating that fast, you're asking for trouble. The time is about right. Are you starting to feel a burning sensation?" He had a smug look on his face. Soon, I felt like my insides were being burned by fire. I immediately knew something was wrong. What in the world is happening? Why is my body burning? And this heat is already far beyond what I can handle. If this keeps up, I might just explode, and my magic is already completely out of control. But the old man didn't seem to care at all. He just told me to keep enduring it. Everything in this world is like an oasis lost. It never existed, and even if it did, the great shark would be reborn and reincarnated. Such is the endless cycle of life. How could I listen to his grand philosophy? I was about to be roasted alive. How about you save me first? I can only listen to those grand principles of yours after I'm saved. The old man gave me a cool glance. He had no intention of saving me at all. Besides, he didn't have a way to save me either. That's what made the flames so intense. Then, the old man went to sleep. When I woke up again, it was the next morning. The old man gave me a faint smile. "Are you finally awake? You idiot." I told him not to just pop out and scare me like that. You could scare someone to death. And also, I wasn't sleeping. I passed out. It's all your fault, you wretched old man, for leaving me to die last night. As I spoke, I realized my body was no longer burning hot. And I felt my body was filled with power. My muscles felt as firm as clay. And my magic was roaring like a storm. Could it be that thing was really what the old man claimed it was? A top-grade medicinal ingredient? I asked the old man what exactly was going on. Why had I suddenly become so powerful? He said all the credit belonged to the sand-throat's gallbladder. For anyone crossing the desert, it's a priceless treasure. Grants people the power to resist the scorching sun and sandstorms. For a caravan, its value is comparable to a magic stone. I never thought this old man would be so generous. To think he'd give me something so precious. The old man told me not to be so dramatic. I only gave it to you because you're pitifully weak. Since I have to drag you around everywhere, you need to at least be somewhat useful. You should at least have the means to protect yourself. I've already let go of my grudge against the old man for leaving me to die yesterday. In fact, I should be thanking him. Time flew by, and soon it was noon. The old man patted the skeleton of the strange fish. I didn't expect this fish to be so big. It's rare to get a full meal. Then he told me to get dressed and keep moving. At that, a smile touched the corner of my lips. "Yes, sir, let's press on." I found that I was listening to the old man more and more. We walked for half a month straight. Today, a sandstorm appeared ahead of me. Thanks to my abilities, this sandstorm was practically just a cool breeze to me now. But the old man didn't have this ability. Yet he walked through the center of the sandstorm as if on level ground. Probably a midlife crisis or something. I've been following him for 2 weeks already. Does this guy even know where he's going? It feels like he has no clear direction at all. I suspected the old man might be lost. Just as I was cursing him for being a fool, a giant ant appeared behind me. But I wasn't the least bit panicked. I raised my hand, pointed a finger, and used my sand ability to kill it. "Just be quiet, little ant." Gradually, I stuck by the old man's side. I also learned the demeanor of the strong. Just then, I noticed a stir behind me. It seems its armored hide is quite tough indeed. But that doesn't seem very likely now. At this moment, in my perception, several ants were crawling toward me. In response to this, I no longer had the slightest pity for them. "Since you want to fight, then I'll give you a swift and painless death." With a single palm strike, sand and dust rose from the ground. After I blasted away the sand on the surface, all those ants have revealed themselves. I guess it's time for me to hunt. I can't always rely on the old man's protection. Oh no, this is bad. I'm actually surrounded by countless ants. It looks like I'm about to be eaten alive. But the old man behind me isn't showing any sign of helping. This is actually getting interesting. Since you enjoy watching the show, then you better watch closely. See how I survive being surrounded by these ants. Just a moment ago, after I was surrounded by a swarm of giant ants, I took care of them with a single sandstorm. In my opinion, the sound of that explosion was music to my ears. Anyway, I like days with sandstorms. As far as the eye could see, there was nothing but yellow sand. I turned my head and saw that damned old man has already gotten far ahead. If this keeps up, he's going to leave me behind. I feel like that old man has zero team spirit. Still wandering around alone at his age then, I quickly chased after him. But right at that moment, my heart suddenly skipped a beat. Ever since I started following the old man, I've never let my guard down. Because of that, as soon as a beast appears nearby, I can react immediately, but what I just sensed was different. It wasn't just a simple animal instinct. There's definitely something big beneath me. The next second, the ants inside the sand were blasted out. This huge commotion made me feel my guess was even closer to the truth. I cursed under my breath. Damn it, just how many ants are under this sand? I looked at the old man in the distance and saw he was just sitting up there, quietly watching the show. I held back from calling for his help, because I can't be like a child who always asks their elders for help. The next moment, I unleashed my sand ability and started fighting these ants. I finally figured it out. There's no way the old man didn't notice the ants underground. But he didn't do anything. And he didn't warn me. That's enough to prove one thing. He's giving me a mission. With a wave of my hand, countless sand spikes shot towards the swarm of ants. Just then, an ant at the very front actually broke through my attack range and got right in front of me. Luckily, I skillfully dodged it. These damned ants dare to surround me. I have no idea how many of them are under the ground. If it were one-on-one, I wouldn't be afraid of them at all. But unfortunately, there's no way they're going to fight me one-on-one. I thought of a clever trick. Use the sand to create a staircase and continuously fly up into the air. I just feel like I've fallen into an anthill. There are so many ants that I can't possibly kill them all. Now I need to get to a higher point to see what's happening below. Luckily, that swarm of ants can't fight in the air. But suddenly, my body felt like it was pulled by some powerful force. I can't believe these ants actually caught up to me. They actually linked together one by one to form a long rope. This has to be a joke. They can't fly, yet they managed to reach mid-air through teamwork. The next second, that ant gave a powerful tug and actually pulled me straight down from the sky. My body slammed heavily onto the yellow sand. The massive impact made my insides churn. These ants are the worst. To think they injured me this badly. I looked at the old man up ahead with an almost pleading gaze. If only he would help me. I could escape in an instant, but at that thought, a huge grin spread across my face. I looked at him, not for his help, but for him to watch closely and see exactly how I was going to survive. The old man chuckled. Now that's the proper attitude for someone strong. You idiot. In this world that's turned into a desert, your ability is an unparalleled gift. Of course, you could have used that power to live an enviable life. But if you had done that, that would have been the end of it. Those brain-dead fools don't even know why the world became like this. They're just lost in their illusions. An awakened is someone who must be born with, master, and develop their own skills. Not be standardized by some damn factory. The old man still couldn't forget what had happened back then. I'm screwed, I'm so screwed. I've actually been paralyzed by an ant king. And its fangs are incredibly venomous, which is why I can't use any of my strength. If I don't think of a countermeasure soon, I might actually get eaten by ants. While I was locked in a desperate struggle with the ant monster, the old man was reminiscing about the past. It turns out the old man had really lived for over 100 years. He witnessed the destruction of the world with his own eyes. Back then, the old man was completely helpless. His comrades in arms, his family, they all died in that explosion, including his daughter. He couldn't protect a single thing. But I'm different, 'cause I have the potential to become anything. He wants me to dive headfirst onto the line between life and death. And the result is that I'll become stronger, just like I am right now. Constantly growing. Just then, I developed a new ability with sand. I laughed wildly. You pathetic ants must be feeling it now, right? There's no escape for any of you. A huge amount of sand covered the ants. This is my newly developed ability, the super compressed sand bomb. These damn ants can just wait to be blown to bits by me. It's the simplest, most foolish thing. But if I compress gravity, impact force, and every ounce of power I can muster into it, it will unleash a terrifying amount of force. Boom, the sweet sound of that explosion was just so satisfying. With this, all of these ants are done for. There's no way I'm going to die here before I've gotten stronger. The old man laughed. This kid is getting carried away again. I wasn't even looking at the ants in front of me. I just kept blasting my sand bombs. Seeing this filled me with joy. The feeling of getting stronger is truly exhilarating. But just as I turned to show the old man the results of my battle, I was ambushed by an ant. A flicker of panic shot through me. I was way too careless. I absolutely cannot get cocky again. I saw that this ant was a bit different from the others. This one was bigger and much stronger. Most importantly, I hadn't sensed its presence at all just now. How could a piece of trash like this possibly use a high-level skill like stealth? And I could feel poison on it, too. No wonder my magic has been draining uncontrollably. It's a poison that blocks my magic channels. These damned bugs. But this alone is nowhere near enough to take me down. The next moment, I was dragged underground by the ant. I groggily opened my eyes and realized I was in an ant nest. I had a very bad feeling about this. On the ground, I still had a chance to run, but in here, there's almost no chance of escape. I felt a stirring beside me, slowly getting closer. I turned my head to look and saw that it was some kind of larva. These larvae slowly crawled onto my arm. Their two sharp fangs bit right into my flesh, but my body was completely paralyzed. If this keeps up, I'm going to be eaten alive. It looks like I've reached my limit. My life seemed to flash before my eyes. Am I really going to die? Just then, another bug came rushing over. Fearing it wouldn't get a piece of the action, it was smashed to pieces in the next instant. This scene seemed to shock the large ant above. I slowly pushed myself up. A cold sneer escaped my lips. Little ants like you all take care of you in no time. At the same time, another golden bar appeared on my arm. The next moment, an explosive power erupted from the ground where I stood. Countless grains of sand began to rise from the earth. And not just where I was. Any part of this cave, any spot could erupt with a torrent of sand. Since they brought me into this nest, then I'll just have to destroy their home. Soon, most of the nest was in ruins because of me. And this was the compression skill I had just learned. Using this terrifying explosive force to destroy these ants. Here it comes. Here it comes. My sand ability has finally broken through again. Just as I was using my sand powers to bombard this ant nest, I noticed my rank had gone up. And my stamina and magic were overflowing. I even suspected I had evolved. My strength and magic were on a completely different level from when I was F rank. But even so, that big guy behind me was still completely unharmed. The giant black ant charged straight at me. I quickly created compression bombs, ready to throw them all. I'm about to see just how tough this guy's head really is. Bang, bang, bang. But the series of explosions still couldn't harm this giant ant. I felt like I was going crazy. If this goes on, there's no way I can win. No matter what I attack it with. I can't even leave a scratch. I forced myself to calm down. I had to think carefully about how to get past its unbreakable armor. Then, I thought of a way to rip it off. Not to destroy it, not to tear it to shreds. The next moment, a storm erupted from the flat ground. The ant's body was right in the center of my sand ability's range. If I can't break its defense, then I'll just twist it and rip its armor right off. The ant let out a pained shriek. Just then, a piercing sound came from its mouth. A bad feeling washed over me. This was completely beyond my expectations. What the hell is this thing? This sound, it seems like a high-frequency vibration. If this keeps up, my eardrums might be shattered. Right now, this entire cave is the ant's home turf. So this sound can just keep echoing. I can't believe this damned ant is hiding a move like this until the very end. But this just fired up my will to fight even more. Either you die first, or I do. It's either you die, or I die. Those are the only two outcomes. Let's see who can hold out the longest. At that moment, my sand was constantly grinding against its body. Soon, its shell began to crack. At that moment, I let out a huge roar. I poured all of my magic into it. I had to kill this ant. Suddenly, it felt like something inside me snapped. My body started to tilt. I didn't know what was happening. Why can't I control my body? Don't tell me I've already reached my limit. I cursed myself again. I really am useless. My body is just so weak. But just as I was about to collapse, a pair of big hands caught me. The old man let out a hearty laugh. If you fall asleep here, your face will freeze solid. Wouldn't be very attractive if you ended up with a paralyzed face. I couldn't believe how carefree this old man was. His only apprentice was about to die, and here he was, teasing me. The final blow is up to you, you old geezer. You arrogant brat. Seems you're not completely useless after all. To actually hold on for this long, this ant is C-class, you know. It's far stronger than you are. Yet, you didn't give up even on the brink of death. You struggled until the very end. You did well. You've earned the right to live. I could only see the old man's mouth moving non-stop. Blah, 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 blah. I couldn't hear anything else. Because it seemed my eardrums had ruptured. The old man didn't seem to care at all that my eardrums were torn. He just lifted me up with one hand. I asked him where he was taking me. Then, he carried me and shot upwards. There was a purple orb in front of me. I asked the old man what on earth this thing was. It looked strangely beautiful, but he paid me no mind. After all, I couldn't hear a word he was saying anyway. Then, the old man pointed to the wall, gesturing for me to look myself. I saw the old man right on the wall. This is the queen's soul. It's an excellent medicinal herb. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting stronger. My sand ability had grown stronger 3 times in a single day, and I was planning on using this new power to challenge the old man. Just a moment ago, the old man wrote the name of the herb on the stone wall. to avoid a repeat of what happened when I swallowed the gallbladder. I decided I'd better check with him first. This thing won't corrode my insides, will it? The old man said that this thing I was about to eat could kill me. But from my perspective, I couldn't hear what he was saying clearly because my eardrums were ruptured. I figured it'd be fine. It's not like one bite could kill me, right? So I just ate it. I didn't expect it to actually be strawberry flavored. It was delicious. I turned my head to ask the old man if there was any more. I wanted to have a couple more, but just then, my eyes suddenly shot wide open, and then, my body was pierced through. I was a little slow to react to what was happening. It turns out, this thing causes intestinal inversion. Exactly what it sounds like. Your intestines twist and flip over on themselves. The queen ant's egg is a fatal poison. Even a trace amount will force all your internal organs to twist and invert. In short, the victim's organs become entangled, twisted, and inverted. Until they die. I started screaming curses at the old man. What the hell is this stuff? What on earth did you make me eat? The old man told me to shut up. If you want to survive in this crazy world, just get used to it. I don't know what's going on. I actually heard what that old man just said. But how could I possibly get used to this? The next moment, I violently coughed up a mouthful of blood. I knew I was done for. My crappy life is finally coming to an end. In the end, I guess I really am just an idiot. This old geezer was never trustworthy at all. Thump, my body fell heavily to the ground. Then, the old man flexed his wrist. He then thrust his palm into the ant's body, rummaging around inside with his hand. A moment later, he pulled it out. In his hand was a blue, orb-like object. As I thought, the magic stone from this kind of beast is on a whole other level. I really hit the jackpot this time. And the old man figured these ants were quite useful too. Might as well pack them all up and take them with me. Then, he looked at the sword beside him. The sword emitted a faint hum. My friend, I know he's in a lot of pain right now, but there's nothing we can do. If he is weak, he will die. That is the entirety of his fate. He then slung the sword onto his back. Old friend, you haven't forgotten, have you? We don't have much time left. I don't know how much time had passed. I slowly opened my eyes. The old man was looking at me with a smile. You're finally awake, little guy. I was starting to think you'd died. The next moment, I immediately unleashed my sand ability and struck at him. The old man kept retreating. A look of exasperation on his face. What do you think you're doing? What's all this useless flailing about? You're kicking up dust everywhere. Are you trying to choke me to death? Then, as he looked up, he realized something was off. How interesting. It seems you're getting serious now, are you? Right in front of him, I had used my sand ability to create more than 30 sand bullets. My intention was crystal clear. I was challenging him. Immediately after, these sand bullets surrounded the old man, but there wasn't a trace of fear on his face. You idiot, don't get so carried away. A misunderstanding. It was all a misunderstanding. It turns out the old man wasn't trying to harm me. The queen's soul that the old man made me eat earlier had increased my magic power by 3 or 4 times. Just a moment ago, I was preparing to challenge the old man. But his face showed no signs of panic as my attacks rained down. I screamed a question at him from the depths of my soul. You rotten old geezer, why did you want to kill me? However, I got no answer. But by this point, I was boiling with rage. There was no way I could ever forgive this old man. I used my control over sand to soften the spikes in the nest. This way, the spikes would break off from above. And then, controlled by my sand, they shot toward the old man. I unleashed more than 10 of my ultimate attacks in a row, leaving me gasping for breath. But the old man was completely unharmed. He even called me an idiot. What the hell is going on? The old man spoke slowly. But have you really not used your brain to think about it at all? But the fact that the old man was completely fine left me stunned. Those last few moves were all the trump cards I had. I couldn't even wound him. The old man let out a sigh. You idiot, one punch from me and you'd be dead on the spot. So why would I have needed to poison you? Hearing him say that, I felt like the old man had a point. So the ant queen's eggs were a deadly toxin. They could corrode my organs, but they could also draw out all the impurities and trace toxins from my body. It all depended on how they were used. It could be the world's deadliest poison, or the greatest medicine. It would cleanse my body of all filth and allow my mana to fill the space. I had already felt that during the fight just now. It was just as the old man had said. My mana had increased severalfold. Hearing this, my heart was filled with emotion. Tears even started to well up in my eyes. I threw myself into his arms. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have doubted you. I must have been crazy to doubt you. I cried my heart out. Because I knew that attacking the old man was a fatal mistake. If I didn't cry and wail like a child, he might have beaten me to death. The old man told me to dry my tears. You're a grown man now. Don't cry like that. I said, no, I'm psychologically traumatized. At that moment, the sword on the old man's back let out a faint hum. It was communicating with the old man. My old friend, I know what you mean. This little brat only survived because he's a lot tougher than he looks. If he doesn't get stronger quickly, I'll be out of excuses. I bet on a long shot. Then, the old man picked me up. It's time to move. I asked him what he was grabbing me for again. The old man just smiled. We don't have much time now. Don't you think we should get out of here quickly? I suddenly had a bad feeling in my gut. At the same time, on the surface, a shockwave suddenly erupted. The old man and I emerged from below. You darn old geezer. Is brute force the only thing you know? Couldn't you have just used the exit like a normal person? The old man told me to shut up. We're lucky we even got out. You're too weak right now. At this rate, you won't even be able to get married. The old man's words trailed off as his gaze was captivated by something ahead. I looked up curiously, but the scene that followed made my eyes widen in shock. What in the world is that? The old man dragged my body as he slowly leapt towards it. A turtle. I've never seen such a massive turtle before. Just looking at it is a little terrifying. The old man said this is a mobile fortress. An archelon. Its original form is a B rank, turtle-type magical beast. In terms of defense, it even surpasses S rank. They hollowed out its shell and reinforced it. Then they ride it like a fortress. My expression was one of utter amazement. That crazy monster, they can actually ride it around? So the world is this vast. I guess I really have been living under a rock. The old man said this was just a small taste. You'll see things far more shocking than this later on. At that moment, the turtle glanced at us. Its enormous eye made me a bit flustered. Then, someone leapt down from above. With a loud thud, another old man appeared before us. Talk about making an entrance. The man slowly said, with so many people around. I wasn't sure at first, but it really is you. I was about to use the sand on him, but that old man stopped me. If you want to die, then go ahead and make your move. When the time comes, I won't care about a fool like you. That old man with the glasses has an incredibly sharp gaze. It's been a long time.